I'm going to start then, and I just want to kind of introduce myself quickly. So I'm Elizabeth. I'm the co-founder with Marcia of Extraordinary Journeys. We also have Mary here today, and I'll kind of present Mary properly in a few seconds. But quickly, I just want to introduce, this is a very special trip for us. So I started Extraordinary Journeys with Marcia, who's my mother, and we got very involved with Great Being a Girl. But to give you a little bit of background, the company started 15 years ago, but we have deep ties to Kenya. Marcia was in the Peace Corps in Uganda over 40 years ago. I mean, you're kind of some of those like original Peace Corps people. In Uganda, met my father, moved to Kenya. I was born in Kenya. Marcia has lived, so many years there, has worked in the safari business, worked in other projects in Kenya. You were doing work with witch doctors. I remember as a kid going out there with you to some of those visiting witch doctors. I was probably like 6 years old. So you have a very deep tie. And I think one thing that makes a huge difference, and we see it in the way we travel, and I think the inspiration is Marcia, is that you like to go deep, you like to get to know a country, you have an incredible way with people. And I think that's what makes it very special. And I personally love travel with you. And so when we started Extraordinary Journeys, we really wanted to bring that passion, that open-mindedness, that fearlessness to go out there and just get to know a country, not in a superficial way, but really go out and meet the people and see different angles. So for a long time, and that is really kind of the spirit of Extraordinary Journeys and a lot of what we do. And we have specialists in different countries because we always want to help people to push a little deeper, to go a little bit further. And we realize it's not easy, but there we are. We're here to hold hands a little bit, hopefully get people just beyond their comfort zone where, they're not in a panic, but it felt different and it was a new thing. It was a new perspective. And we try to find interesting guides, interesting people, interesting angles, interesting projects. And that's something we care about everywhere, in all the places where we offer trips. We do custom trips. We don't usually do group trips. But I really felt Marcia is now retired and got very involved in this project, Great Being a Girls, which I'll explain in a second how we got involved. But when we thought of a trip, and I think Marcia is so great to travel with, when we thought of a trip that we wanted to put together, we thought when we started thinking about Great Being a Girl, this would be an incredible opportunity. And so we're really excited about it. We're really excited Marcia found time to lead the trip. It's not always easy with your very busy schedule, Marcia, because you are traveling to so many fun places and doing so many fun projects. But we feel this is a really special trip. It feels like the right trip. And so we're excited that you're all here today to hear about it. And yeah, we'll walk you through it a little bit. So let me introduce you quickly. This is Marcia. She's my mother. And as I explained, like she has huge ties to Kenya and Africa. This journal is full circles. Kenya is a special place. This is where it all started. And we also have Mary here today. Mary, we're so glad you made it. Mary is calling, it's the evening. You're calling from your home. Where are you now, Mary?
Yeah, I'm in my home.
You're in your home.
Yeah,
Mary is a teacher in the Maasai Mara in Kajiado.
Caggiato.
Kajiado, sorry.
He's
So,
on the side.
ah, ah. But we met Mary through Great Being a Girl in the project. Mary is a trainer, for the project. And Mary, so Mary and Marcia met last year when they were working on this project, and they traveled together, and we thought it would be a great opportunity to get them both on this trip because they offer such different perspective, and they also just became really good friends. I think it's a really nice story. You traveled through Kenya together, and we thought this would be a really fun trip to put together. So yeah, Marcia, I'll let you kind of take, tell us a little bit about how you met each other and how that came about. But yeah, tell us a little bit about your
Okay.
impressions. And I'd love to know your impressions. I love traveling with Marcia. Mary, how was it traveling with her? Because people are going to go on this trip with her.
Okay. I'm just going to go just that picture you saw with Mary. This is Samburu, and I'm going to be talking about him more. He is a Samburu, And we'll talk about it more. Yeah, we can go on to the next slide now. Well, the way we got together is a bit of a story, but it started with my most recent trip to Kenya. A friend and EJ client and I went to Samburu and Laikipia to distribute menstrual cups and also to go back to a village we had previously visited.
But is that was with Great Being a Girl? So I mean, just to go back one step, what is Great Being a Girl, and what is the project you are doing?
Okay, well, we'll start then. Great Being a Girl, that your slides are not going to go with it then so much, but
Okay.
because let me talk about how I met Mary, and then I'll
Okay.
get to what Great Being a Girl is. So we were with Great Being a Girl, which distributes menstrual cups, and a menstrual cup is what this little girl is holding right here. This is a menstrual, I can't get it, okay.
Yeah.
This,
Well, we see it in the image.
menstrual cup, and you're gonna hear more than you wanna hear about it. But we went back to see, we had a very strange idea. Let's try giving these cups to women who live in the middle of nowhere with no electricity, no water, no toilets. And are they going to want to use these? Well, this happened because a friend insisted that I do this. And Mary went with us, and she turned out to be an incredible gift. We weren't teaching women in Swahili, we were teaching them in their own language because Mary's language is very close to Samburu. And the connection, this is Mary with Nicole, who runs the lodge, and she was just amazing. They clicked. And I just realized that we had such a good time. Mary just exudes joy and curiosity. She connects with people. And I thought we had so much fun and we had such incredible connections, and I would love to take people with me. So, and I realized I can't do it without Mary because she's really was the glue that made it all happen.
And Mary, how was this trip for you when you went with Marcia?
Wow, Elizabeth, thank you very much for having me. The meeting Marcia was the whole new experience, new adventure, and I learned a lot of lessons during that time. That it was a new experience. Why? It was my first time to be on the plane. So Marcia paid for like extraordinary journeys, like paid for my travel to Samburu. I've never thought that one day I'll be on the plane, but I found myself being called and told that you are going on a safari with a beautiful lady called Marcia, cousins, the Samburu, and my cousins, the Laikipia Maasai. And I was like, oh my God, thank you, God. This is something very good. So we traveled with Marcia. I couldn't sleep that night. I was imagining myself on the sky. Since I was born in Kenya, I just used to the most rural place in Kenya on the slopes of Mount Kilimanjaro, looking after my mother's goat after the tragic death of my dad. So having seen the planes flying high, and I'm like, oh my God, right now I'm going to board a plane. I've always been dreaming about it, but I never thought that my first time to be on the plane would be me and Marcia. So it came the time and we met, and we are now going to Samburu. She's just incredible woman, very friendly, and my first time being at the it's my country, but I've never been to that airport. So it was really a new experience. I was not only going for enjoyment, but I was also going to do something that is going to be a great change to the girls in my rural country. I love the girls so much because I grew up in the hard life in the rural areas. So I knew what we were going to do was going to help. It has already helped me, and it was also going to help my cousins, my sisters in Samburu, Laikipia, and Kajiado. So it was very good journey. I really enjoyed it. Went with Marcia. Everywhere we were going together. We really blended the safari so well with the training. It was great. It was new adventure because we were having like breakfast by the river Ewasonyiro, surrounded by the elephants and the waters and the birds around singing. So, and after that, we could really drive for long hours to go to the villages and still do the very good work that took us there. So generally, the journey was wonderful and great.
And I think that's what's so amazing is this is a trip about connection. It's not just about a safari. And this is about the people you're going to be with, the people you're going to meet. And so that's why we are so excited about it. But let me go back. We're talking about this project, which is Great Being a Girl. We've mentioned it a few times, and it is a big piece of what this trip is about because it's allowing a special connection as well, because it's allowing to have a reason to meet people, and you're talking, there's a discussion going on, and having Mary there who also speaks, you know, the language, and for you, the cultural exchange was incredible because you hadn't been to Samburu. But can we just go back one step and can we just briefly talk about what Great Being a Girl is?
Oh, I would love to. So it began when the daughter of Kimberly Hickok Smith, who was an executive with USAID, which no longer exists. Anyway, her daughter went to college and was very aware of the problem of menstrual or period poverty and called home and said, "Mom, I just found the solution. I have discovered menstrual cups. This can absolutely be the solution to period poverty." So Kimberly got busy and found a company in China that would produce the cups of medical grade silicone, very flexible, high quality cups for $2 a cup. And she bought, I don't know, 500, gave them out to people that she knew, organizations that she knew. The great thing about these cups is that they're placed in the vaginal canal. They collect menstrual fluid. They can stay there for 12 hours. Then they're simply emptied, washed, wiped clean, reinserted, and this happens over and over and over for up to 10 years. There's nothing to throw away. There's no garbage, and lots of advantages. They were absolutely amazing. So Kimberly enlisted the help of a really good friend, Linda Benvenuti. But both these women had full lives, work, and they were paying for everything out of their own pockets. So I got involved because, Elizabeth, you asked our company where they wanted to make a donation at the end of the year. And everyone said, "Well, listen, we're a women's company, mainly. We do have a couple of fabulous guys, but we should be addressing period poverty." But no one knew how. So I said, "No problem, I'll do the research." And my friends in Kenya led me to Kimberly and Linda, who asked me to please come with them to a training session in a Kenya slum. At that point, I really had no idea what a menstrual cup was, and I will tell you that topic did not thrill me. But I was so impressed with Kimberly's presentation and her ability to forge partnerships. And the more I saw, the more impressed I got. And I became just totally impressed with the whole project. And it just amazes me that a little cup that costs $2 can solve so many issues. And you'll hear more
So
about
that's
the issues it
actually a
solves.
question I was going to ask Mary. I'd love to hear some of those issues and kind of, you know, Marcia was surprised by them. But I'd love to hear kind of how it was for you, Mary, because you got involved. I'd love to hear how you got involved with Being a Girl, but also what were the challenges for you in your community because you use them and you're a teacher, the girls you teach use them. So we'd love to hear your perspective.
Yeah, okay, thank you. With menstruation in Kenya was really a great challenge, especially to young girls who are starting it and even the young women. As a teacher, I teach girls, both girls and boys, and I see what they experience. it is very hard to, or rather most people are eating from hand to mouth. You find that they can't even afford a shilling to buy the sanitary towels that is sold in the shops. So you find that in school, like most girls were really suffering because one, they were using anything that they came across. Like when they start menstruating, sometimes it was even not, they could not share with their mothers. So you find them taking even old rags, old socks, and not even cleaned, you know. Some would use old blankets and they use them during the time. And other school actually opt to stay at home, not go to school, because they thought that being in school with the menstruation and soiling up your clothes, that was making them to be more shy, and their self-esteem was going down each and every time. So it was a big challenge, and you find that most girls were missing school like 3 to 4 days each month, you know. So if you count like time 3 months when we are in school before the holidays, you find that those are like 10 to 12 days. So you find that the boys were going up and the girls were going down in their education. Again, the girls also, since the drugs were not cleaned up, they were not standard, they could get the UTI, that is the urinary tract infections, and some other bacterial infections. Again, these girls will want to try having used the pads that they see maybe girls from the well-up families using. So they start we have people in Kenya who are motorbike riders, motorcycle riders. We call them boda boda or the piki piki people. So these people have like easy cash, and they give to the girls. So they buy them the sanitary towels in exchange of sex. Just after they do the sex, when the girls are becoming pregnant and dropping out of school. Becoming pregnant in Maasai Nini is like joyful to the old man who is always want their
Mm.
cows. So the girls will be like married off to the old people, and you have no say because you dropped out of school. So you find them being taken like to the most remote places, married like the sixth or the seventh wife, and then the future of the girl is ruined. So poverty continues and the cycle of poverty continues. So when we met with the great being a girl, there before it's a girl thing,
Yeah.
and they brought yeah. And since now our girls have embraced it, and they never take their cash from the border people. We are seeing our girls being present in school. As a teacher, I witnessed they're always in school. At the same
Mm.
time, they are confident. At the same time, they are also passing in exams like the boy child. So most the girls were very vulnerable. But when this solution came in, the girls are now coming up. And to me, it's like when you educate a girl, you've educated the whole world. And to my rural community, I'm seeing that there's light. The light is coming. And I'm so grateful to the extra journeys and the great being a girl for what you are doing to my community. I sacrifice a lot my time, my energy to go teach them so that every girl in my country, in my community, will be able to use this cap. Thank you.
No, that's amazing, Mary. Wow. It's made me very emotional. And I'm impressed because I'm also, these cups are not easy, even when you're older. So I'm impressed that you got them to use them because I use it now, but I have to say it's not the first, it takes a little bit of training.
So word has it, when Mary trained her class, she said, okay, we've explained it all. We're very lucky in this school we have latrines. Here you have them. Go out to the latrine, put it in. She doesn't fool around, this
And
Mary.
this is why the training is so important. But yeah, I just want to show just a few, we put together a quick slide after, based on what Mary's saying, but just to highlight some of the impact of these menstrual cups.
And while people are reading that, I'm going to just talk about it a little bit. So a huge advantage of cups is they are super discreet. Think about the space that pads take up. These pads have to be taken out to schools. They take room in trucks. They're going into shops. They're going into supplies given to the schools. They're going to lodges. And once they've been delivered, so that's taking space that they've given to the girls, then the girls use them, they have to get rid of them. There is no garbage collection in most of Kenya. So where do they go? They're just thrown out in the field. They are added to mountains of garbage in the slums. It's a mess, and you'll hear more about that from other people. In the rural areas, the women have no place to, they just try to bury them. The goats, the dogs get them. It is a mess. So even in areas where they are getting pads, the teachers and headmasters are begging us for the cups because, as one headmaster said, you've solved our plumbing problems. We're having so many issues. Just think about a boarding school with 200 girls. It's just volume-wise, it's a mess. The washable pads are better, but they have to be hung up to dry. As Mary was saying, it's not everybody wants to hang these all over the place. In
And we
Samburu,
were also saying they only last a year.
and they only last a year. In Samburu, where we trained the staff, and Nicole told the men, and the next day what was going on, and they were saying, "Hallelujah! We won't have all these pads hanging all over our quarters anymore."
Yeah.
I have the cups rarely leak, pads do, and this embarrassment is just, women talk to us a lot about that. They can run, they can do sports, they don't worry about them slipping, falling, any of that. We talked about the money issue. It's huge, and keeping the girls in school. So this has just been, it is like unbelievable what $2 can do.
So I do, so unfortunately we are, I just want to make sure everyone, we only said this would be about 30 minutes and we're 25 minutes in. We're very bad with time management, but this has been so interesting. So I just want to show some of the projects, and this is when we're going on the trip and what will happen in some of these visits. Like these were taken from Marcia's trip, and this is what we're hoping to also share on future trip, this communication. And Mary, I think if you want to talk.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Oh, if you want to talk about kind of your experience, I mean, these were when you went to see the Samburu, and this is you talking to them. I mean, you speak the language, so you kind of knew how they were reacting firsthand.
I went to the Samburu place and we were talking with the women. They were so excited. They love my Maasai dialect. I love theirs too. So really, like, we got like blended very easily, and they were so happy that even a Maasai was using the cup. So they really embraced it very quickly, and they were asking me some questions behind the curtain that does it hurt? Does it, and I was like explaining to them. So my cousins, the Samburu and the Maasais, we really love our blood. We don't want to see the dogs like carrying the pads around and making the environment dirty. We also have animals. We rear animals, livestock, yeah? And the cows like want to eat the papers around. Yeah. So they say that they found the solution because they cannot, there are no pads around like everywhere, and then our blood was going back to the
earth,
to the earth, to our soil. That is what they were saying. And also they were telling me that right now they are confident. They can go anywhere. They can go to the church, they can go to schools, and then they can also go to the meetings wherever they are called upon. Again, they say they love the cups because there was they didn't experience like a lot of dirt, like when it's like they use little water, and like when they are on their menses and using the sanitary tiles, or rather the rags. They also said they were saving money. And they say the money they are saving, they are using it to buy shopping for their girls when they go
Right.
back to
Oh,
school.
sorry.
Uh,
Um,
they say their
Yeah.
daughters are happy in college because right now they couldn't call them every time like, buy me, buy me, buy me. So the women were so happy and they didn't want the men to know more about it, but they just wanted to keep it.
So you can imagine these conversations on the trip. These are the conversations that you get to have. You're not just visiting, people want cultural experiences when they say they go to Kenya. These are real conversation you're having, and to have Mary and Marcia to facilitate that is absolutely amazing. And I just want to show more pictures of people. I think that's Kimberly who started it, Marcia. Here, we also put a picture. This is the slum, this is the garbage we're seeing too. So you can imagine pads in there. That's who
It's
wants to
there.
see that? Yeah.
A lot of
Um,
birds.
And
In
then I
Kenya.
wanted to show, yeah, there are a couple, this on right here is collaboration. We have a group that we're working with at the coast, and more, Kimberly's just fabulous. And I have to say, I have found a few organizations too that we can collaborate with. So they have all their connections and we just train a couple of trainers and then that becomes a new distribution. And
Yeah.
can I take 1 second just to talk about how much we've done this year?
Sure. And then we
Okay,
should
because
talk
I know
about the
we've got to
trip
go to the
and
trip.
what the trip
This
is
is
going to be
the
like.
real point. So we're now registered in Kenya, and we are a nonprofit in the United States through the Extraordinary Journeys Foundation. And we've already raised quite a bit of money. And so they have a website which has a lot of really useful information, and they keep adding to it for women in Kenya. We now have a full-time person to do all the administrative work, set up visits, and Diana is just a force of nature. Also, I think she stayed with you, Mary, when you were in Kajiado. She's
Yeah.
like, I will never stay anywhere except with Mary.
So it is.
Yeah.
So it's just these amazing women you're also going to be
Oh, they're
meeting,
so
and we want
fabulous.
everyone to meet these people. I mean, there's an energy here, and we will, Susan, I see your question there about an address of website you mentioned. We'll follow up with all that information, so we will send it to you, and we'll send a follow-up. But it's an energetic, these are cool people you are meeting in Kenya. So I do want to jump into the trip quickly,
Yes.
just so in case people have to leave, because I mean, I think it was important to share where it was come from, the background, because the trip, the project is the heart of it, but it's really, we're also trying to share more, we're sharing a lot of passion for Kenya. So Marcia, I'll just kind of let you walk through kind of how you decide to put the trip together and what people are going to do every day.
Okay, so one thing we've known always with Extraordinary Journey is fewer stops, longer visits leads to happy clients. So we're not going all over the place. We're going to be in Nairobi, and then when we will have 2 wildlife areas, they have 2 very different cultures and 2 different ecologies. One is arid, one is nice and wet. We're only going to have 14 participants. And when we're on our community visits, we're going to break out into small groups. I don't want 16 people marching into, a group of 20 people. It totally messes it up. We're going to be very flexible. If you don't want to go on some of the visits, you'll go on a game drive instead. We will try to be just as flexible as we can be. And we'll be flying from place to place, so your time is really maximized. We're going to start with 2 days in Nairobi, if I can have that slide. While we're there, we'll probably go to a school. We will most likely go to a girls' or a women's group like this. We'll have a really nice dinner with Kimberly, Linda, Diana, and possibly other trainers. They're great women. They really have inspired me. I'm sure they'll inspire you. I wanted to take you to a museum so you get an appreciation of the history and the culture of the people we'll visit. We'll also do all the normal things like feeding giraffes at Giraffe Center, and going to the Karen Blixen Museum. For those who like to shop, I have a couple of really amazing places up my sleeve. And once I have the group together, I will talk to you and maybe we'll separate and do two separate things according to your interests. I want to be as flexible as possible. I want you to have a great experience. Then we're going to fly to Samburu,
All right.
the Samburu Reserve.
There we go.
And I promise you are going to love this lodge. These are the beds, and you're looking out over that way. But, you know, it's not the fanciest, but it is absolutely stunning in its own way. And it has Nicole, that fabulous woman who you saw with Mary in an earlier slide. She's the first Samburu woman manager of a luxury camp. She's a character. She's really fun to talk to. She's another of those toughies. Fool around with Nicole. And you saw a picture earlier of Mary with Samoro. He's our guide. He has a gold medal. Very few guides have gold medal. You have to pass a ton of really hard exams. He set up our visit to the community when we were there before. He's great with people. He's great with animals. And we're just so lucky that he will be with us. Oh, there's Katie. That was the woman who got us to Samburu, our client.
And here more about it.
Anyway, we will divide you up again, so you won't have too many people in any one community. We will go on fabulous game drives. It's a beautiful reserve. It's really interesting because it's arid, and you'll see a lot of species of animal that you don't see in other places. And you're going to have time for magical moments. You can go swimming. We've got a couple of very athletic women who've been interested, who are probably going to go on the safari, and they may want to go for a hike along the Owasoniero River while we're doing something else. So this is extraordinary journeys. So nothing's going to be cookie cutter, I promise you. From there to the Mara. And you all know the Mara. It's the quintessential Africa experience. And this is an area where we have no experience with Great Being a Girl. So you will be in the group, the spearhead group, to introduce the cups there. Mara is beautiful. I felt like if I don't see a single animal, I'd still be happy just being in the Mara. I chose our camp, Tengalia, because it was started by an outstanding Maasai guide, and he's been a guide there for 20 years. He picked the perfect spot. It's on a hill overlooking a fabulous waterhole, and it's right around the corner from the area where the BBC program featuring the Marsh Pride was filmed. There's leopard right around there. The camp has lots of trees and bush. The bird life is amazing. I was there with a fabulous guide, and he saw one of his life first time to see a bird. So it's really great. The camp is not fancy. The rooms have everything you need, nothing you don't. But this is the tent. And as I say, I just love it. It's a perfect camp for me.
It's not over the top, but it's quite nice. And I think at the end of the day, it's the feeling you get and the warmth and the people you meet.
Oh, yeah,
and
terrific. And it's owned by a Maasai. That's what makes it so great. And Dominique is a doll, and he's going to really help us with the community. And we're going to have 3 Maasai women, college graduates, who are going to go into the area, and they are going to be our liaison, and they're going to help us with the community. So Dominique, these women, we're going to actually get this really going in that area. So this is kind of groundbreaking. So this is going to be a great experience. And again, these are their vehicles. I mean, there's nothing shoddy about where we're going to be. He has terrific guides. It's going to be really, really good experience.
And so that is the trip in a nutshell, but we're really excited about it, Marcia. I'm just gonna kind of put it there, but yeah, I mean, we really are excited. We do think this is something we put a lot of thought behind it. This is something we as a company were excited about. If I had to pick a trip, this is certainly the one I would go with. I am biased. I love traveling with my mother. She is great fun. I think some of you on this call know her. Mary, you've just met her. Who doesn't want to travel with Mary? Your smile, just makes me smile this morning. I'm ready to have a great day. And just, to go over some of the details, the trip's in February. Marcia, do you? Yeah, so the trip is in February. We can send more of the details, but we have a few people signed up. We are limiting the group, so we are asking for commitments soon. You kind of were hoping by the end of this month, is that right?
Yes, we have to have it finalized by the end of this month.
Um,
And
and
I would just be thrilled to talk to anyone who's interested, anything you want to know. I see a few people, I will be getting in touch with a few of you who have shown interest, and we've got, as I say, about half the trip is taken, but we've got other spots and would really love to have you. I think it's going to be a great group. It's going to be fun. I think people self-select to be on a group like this. It's going to be really terrific and transforming. I think it's, you're not going to just have a cushy time. You're going to have a fabulous time.
it's going to be hopefully what we hope, a transformational trip.
Yeah.
And then if anyone has questions, this is unfortunately technically webinars are a little bit new to me, so I'm not as technically savvy as I thought I was. But I think you can put some questions in Q&A, and if you do raise your hands, you can talk. So we can also try that. So I don't know if there are any questions or anyone had any questions, but apparently I do have the power to allow you to talk if you're on this, if you are on this presentation. I'm just trying to see the Q&As now. I lost the Q&A section.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, is this open to Susan? Yes, it is open to travel advisors and clients too. We just want people traveling with us to Kenya on this trip. We want the right people, the people who are excited about it. How much is it? And is it
shoot, it's 10
about
10,000.
10,500, I believe, per person. And there's a single supplement that we are encouraging people to share rooms. So there's a single supplement, I think is about a little over 3,000, around $3,000 per person. But if you're sharing, it's 10,500, and it also contributes to the project. And to answer the question, Marcia, is it all women?
So far, it has been women who have signed up, but I see there are a fair number of men on this call. And if you want to come, we would love to have you. I mean, if you're interested, this is great. So it's up, we will see. At this point, it has been only women.
But it is interesting because when you came back from the trip, Marcia, we were amazed at how many of the guides who are men were, and I mean, the people who are excited are not just women, and the conversation's not just with women. We were amazed of how many men are excited and part of this as well. And I think that's also something to consider. The conversation's not just a women's conversation. It's a community. It's a lot more people than that. So I certainly don't feel like men are not welcome.
They're not welcome. I will say that when we have to ask the women when we're doing the training if they are okay to have men there. But my experience is they are perfectly fine to have European men. They don't want their men there.
Yeah.
Do you think that's right, Mary?
Yes, they're excited to have the European men. Like the last village we went to in Laikipia, the first village we went to, there was a Mzungu guy.
There was, yeah.
And they didn't mind about him, but they didn't want their own men to be there.
Partly because they didn't want their men to find out they were using these and don't have to buy pads anymore because they wanted to keep getting the money. They said, oh, now we can use it to buy soap.
Again, I really like to appreciate. Thank you so much, Marcia and Katie. They were the best. I called them the Maasai Samburu girls. They were staying in the villages as if it is their own villages. So they are awesome women. They did great things to the women in the rural Kenya. And most of the time, I could call them the Maasai Samburu girls. They are still the Maasai Samburu girls. Mine is just to welcome all the people through the extraordinary journeys Please welcome to our country. People of all age, size, and color, you are welcome. We are ready, more than ready to be excited for February 2026. And we want to see like a lot of people going inside there and preaching the good gospel about the great being a girl, and also seeing the wild animals, seeing us the Maasai with our beautiful clothes and hats, making new friends. All of you are welcome. Thank you so much. Linda and Kimberly, you're doing the best job in Nairobi. In Nairobi slums, they really need the cups. And that's why we are telling you, Karibu Kenya. Karibu means well.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary.
Yeah, thank you, Mary. Well,
and thank you. Yeah, and so I think we did go a little bit over 15 minutes, but thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, Mary, for being here. This is evening for you, and you're calling in from, which is impressive. You're just calling in from Kenya right now live on your phone, which I love. And then thank you, Marcia, for being here today. And yes.
Well, and thank you so much for organizing this. Thank you, our marketing team who did a great job. And thank you for being on this call. We're not doing it without you. And it was just, I really appreciate being able to talk about something that means so much to me.
And I do have a raised hand, so I will, how do I do this?
While you're doing that, the trip, it is February 20th to the 30th, and it's $10,485 for shared room. And the single supplement is $3,000. But we will hook you up so that you can share a room if you'd like. I mean, as much as possible.
I think Diane and Kimberly had raised their hands, so I don't know if there's still a question there. And if everyone else,
this is our Kimberly. Kimberly, you have something to say? Can you get her?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi,
I would just love to say congratulations and thank you so much for all of your support, everyone who's on this call. We really will welcome you, and it's going to be a wonderful time. Kenya is really a beautiful place. I moved here many years ago from Washington, and I can guarantee you, you will fall in love with it and with the people. And we're just so happy to be a part of this. So, as Mary said, Karibu Sana, welcome.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Asante Sana, Kimberly.
Okay, well, we'll be following up. We've recorded for anyone who missed it, and feel free, again, please talk to us, email us. We'll send all this information. Otherwise, you can always email Marcia at Marcia, MARCIA, at ejafrica.com, or Elizabeth at ejafrica.com. But we have your emails and we'll follow up as well. So thank you all for coming.